Heading into our next segment, though, for a slightly lighter note, or a much lighter note, actually, is we're going to be discussing who we think is best poised for a breakout season in this upcoming 7-game schedule.
Yeah, so, I mean, every year someone is the breakout player. Every year someone comes out of nowhere, really, and kind of overperforms or maybe just performs to the level that nobody thought he could get to. I mean, last year you look at Trent McDuffie, a true freshman. He comes out, and he's second-team All-American freshman. That's the unsung hero from last year's team. So this year, though, I feel it probably won't be a freshman, as they actually just got on the campus really last week, I believe Coach Jimmy Lake said. So they might not have as good of an opportunity. So I actually looked at it with there were three things I looked at: a player's experience, a player's opportunity, and then the measurables. And after looking through that, and looking at the UW's roster, I came to the conclusion that my bet on who's the unsung hero, who's the guy who comes out of nowhere really, is going to be Tuli Letuli Gasanoa. He's the defensive tackle. He's 6'2", 311 pounds, great size. He's extremely agile. I actually talked with his high school head coach a day ago for something, and he told me that Tuli is very different than most just defensive tackles, as he is very quick. He's quick off the line of the scrimmage, and that helps him immensely. He's had great experience from just last season. He was behind Levi Onwuzurike, who's now, of course, opted out. So he got to learn behind him, and he actually played in 12 of the 13 games. He put up decent stats for kind of a role player, you could say, a situational player. He had some good short gain stops. He had a sack against Oregon State, I believe it was. And then he actually had a couple 5-tackle game performances against Stanford and Oregon. So in that short sample size, he showed that he can play college football. He can play with the best of the best. And that's why I'm picking him as my kind of unsung hero, who I think will overperform maybe expectations, or maybe just show everyone how good he actually is.
Yeah, I've got to agree with you. Like, it's a great pick for a breakout season. Yeah. I'm sure he's going to have a great season. Mm-hmm. That's off the table. I feel like that's like end of discussion right there. He's going to have a great season. But then the discussion definitely picks up for me, at least, with if he's going to have the best breakout season. For me personally, I guess I subconsciously broke it down into the same 3 categories as you.
Yeah.
But I definitely approached it from a who's younger, who has more of that kind of, like we did with that segment a few weeks ago. It might have been last week, where you kind of looked at how young a player was to delve into some of their stats.
Yeah.
And for me, for a breakout season this year, I think this guy named Asa Turner, our safety, who's a sophomore, he's absolutely poised. Like, if you looked up poised in the dictionary right now in Webster, I changed, not actually, but you can pretend I changed it to a profile picture of this man. He played in 12 of his 13 games. His like true freshman this past season, he played in 12 of his 13 games, all but the one versus Cal. He started in 5 of those. He, over the season, went 19 tackles, 16 solo, 2 TFLs, 1 interception, and 1 pass deflection, all in his true freshman year. Like, crazy, right? Now, if you compare him to a guy we had who I'd say was one of our later or most recent kind of like greater safeties, which was Brandon Beaver, who came out in 2016, they have the same numbers already year to year. But the only difference there being is that Brandon Beaver, those numbers I pulled were from his senior year, where he ended 2019. He ended 2016 with 17 tackles and some other stats, with almost all of them being starts. I want to point out, Turner's a true freshman who had 5 starts, didn't play all 13 games, and is already hitting the same numbers as Brandon Beaver, who currently holds the longest interception pick 6 in UW history. But I mean, like, Beaver wasn't hitting these numbers until his senior year, and you already see Turner, his true freshman year, pulling these numbers just seemingly out of thin air. I think Asa Turner is poised to reinvent the safety position at UW, reinvigorate it, make defense something that everybody in the nation, not just the Pac-12, wants to talk about. and he's definitely going to elevate that. I'd love to see him break Bieber's record. I think that would be hilarious. And I just think Turner is the most poised as is.